All right, hey, we are on a maiden voyage for Ben's 65 C10. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming out and checking out what we're doing on Ben's truck. We are finalizing some exhaust pipes right now. I'm going to do some finish welding on it. We're not going to have the tips turn out yet. I don't want to do that until we have the bed on and secured. But we are going to have it running through the mufflers. It's going to look good. We've got a bunch of work done. I want to thank Ben for coming down and bailing me out. Really appreciate it. We got to try and make it to a nice family reunion on this Saturday. So we're pushing like crazy. So you guys, hopefully, on this film, you guys will see a burnout video. I don't know if we're going to do that today or if I'm going to do it tomorrow, but for Wednesday's video, we should have some smoke show. So appreciate you guys coming out, and thanks for watching. All right, I went underneath the car, got my indexing line marked. That's what's going to go right there. So we'll get that welded on, go back down and make some more cuts. Alright, I'm going to go underneath. We're going to get this bolted up. I just have it tacked for now. I want to make sure everything's heading the right direction. Alright, down there sleeping under the car again. Didn't have enough time yesterday to get to the exhaust like I wanted to. But I did some things in the dark this morning, which you probably couldn't see on the video. So if you couldn't see it, I deleted it by now. But anyway, let me show you what we got going on. This is the exhaust pipe that goes up into the header flange. Hopefully you can see that up in there. I don't know. It's pretty low light. But anyway, so we got it coming down to this point right here. And from here, we have to go across into a muffler right here, which I don't like the location of that, but it is what it is. We'll have to put a heat shield. And then we're going to head on out right here. So we'll get to that point. All right, we just have some tacks and cuts done, but nowhere near being welded up, but that's our first pipe that's going to go into the muffler. So I'm going to put it up in there and see if it bolts up like it's supposed to. Then I'll finish welding it. Hey, when people used to want me to do their exhaust for them, I tell them, hey, I'll do it for $10 a burn. He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, every time I'm laying underneath the car welding, I just get burns all over my body. So at $10 a burn, that'd be like $20,000 job. So we're not doing it exactly the same, but you get stuff falling on top of you. No fun. Anyway, we are getting ready to put our first pipe up in, make our marks for our muffler, and we will finally have a side done. I am messing with the exhaust on Ben's truck. This is the driver's side. I have it all tacked up. This angle was slightly off. I'm going to cut it back apart, adjust that angle. I don't want it to be wrong, I want it to be right. So we'll make our alterations now. That's why I only tack them, so that if we have to take it back off, it's not a great big cut job. So we'll get this angle redone, tack it again, and go in and check it one more time. Alright, let's go test it and see how it looks. Alright, we have our measurement here where the muffler's going to go up against it. We're going to make one more cut. We'll go back down again. We'll get it lined up, get it marked. We'll come out, we'll be able to tack. I'll weld this stuff up solid. We'll have the first side taken care of. Alright, let's get her welded up. Probably, I don't know what that's like a 1032 or something. You need to get the 8. Yeah, and get coarse and fine. Get both. We don't want to go back again. Got this figured out, I think. Gonna do a couple tacks on that, go back down to the same thing all over again. All right, hey, we are on a maiden voyage for Ben's 65 C10 LS 5-speed 4-wheel disc brake, narrowed 9-inch. It's awesome. What did it do? You gotta be kidding me. Put it in gear and do that again. We just blew the rear end out of it. We went out to do a burn in it. We got something wrong in the rear end. This thing is my arch nemesis, but it does look awesome. Well, we'll pull it back in there and see what's up. 65 C10 short bed conversion LS with the rear end that's not working. All right, so I think you saw in the video that we blew a rear end out of this thing. Not sure what's wrong with it. We're gonna take it apart right now and see what we got. This thing is gonna be the death of me. We have all new parts on this. I'm not sure what we did wrong, but we're gonna take a look right now. We're gonna get this girl jacked up. We're gonna take a wheel off, then we gotta take the brakes off. We're gonna pull an axle. See what we got. Needless to say, Ben was pretty bummed yesterday. I mean, it was good that he took it for a 12-foot drive, but we couldn't hardly do anything. No, that's not good. I got a tire spinning here, that one stays in, and the drive shaft trying to turn. We're gonna see what we got going on. I don't know how the ring and pinion was the only thing that was used on this thing, but everything else was new. So we gotta take the brake caliper off, and then we will take the rotor off, and then we gotta take the entire brake bracket off, and then we will pull this axle out, and we will see. I really hope that the axle, maybe I mismeasured them. I've made lots of mistakes before, and I'm hoping that will be the answer. It's in good shape. That means I have to pull the other axle, and then we got to drop the pumpkin. So fingers crossed. I wish I had a 9/16 ratcheting wrench. I used to have an entire set of wrenches, ratcheting wrenches, but sometimes things just evaporate over time, you know what I mean? Here's the thing, I don't think people are purposely stealing stuff. I think if somebody comes over and helps you, you got their toolbox, they got you got your toolbox, they got theirs. I think sometimes things just accidentally get crossed up. The reason I say that is because I believe that I haven't intentionally stolen anything as far as the tool is concerned. Stole a few girls' hearts. Wah, wah. No, I haven't stolen any tools. But I end up with tools in my box that I don't recognize and never saw before, and I don't know whose they are or where they came from. I think the same thing happens with me. Or at least that's what I'm going to believe. Maybe they are stealing it on purpose. So Ben is trying to take this truck on Friday to go up to our family reunion. He said, Uncle Pete, I've been talking about this truck so long and you took so long that I can't show up without this truck. So it's 7 o'clock on a Monday night. I'm tearing this apart to see what it looks like. Then I will go, depending on what happens, I'll be out here at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll work until 5. And then I'll go to work. Then I will come back on it, work on it tomorrow afternoon, get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But Tommy's going to be back tomorrow, so that's good. All right, let's see if we have a busted axle. We do not. It's not happy. I would rather have a busted axle. Well, let's get to the other side. We'll give you a little different shot this time. Ben has been totally cool about me missing so many deadlines. I really hate the term deadline. It just makes everything stressful. That's why I want to just build cars for myself. If somebody likes it, they can buy it. If they don't, oh well. You know, I mean, I don't want to have to be pushed all the time. Feel like I have to take a shortcut somewhere to try and make a deadline. I don't like that. That's Sadie Sue. Sadie come out to visit me and get right up in your junk. She thinks that everyone has to fall in love with her instantly, and she thinks everyone wants you to be right there. I got news for you, Sadie. Sometimes you're in the way, girl. So, 2 Allen wrench bolts, or Allen bolts, hold the calipers on. Pretty easy. Now, Ben is not easy on cars, and he launched this pretty hard yesterday. You could hear the engine in the background hitting the rev limiter, but this was not Ben's fault. I don't think so. When this axle comes out good, it's the one part in the rear end that I did not replace. Oh, see, so the Miracle Dog. If you guys haven't seen my Miracle Dog video, go back and check it out. She is a Miracle Dog. Get a rubber mallet. That shouldn't be coming out like that. I think we got problems in there. Yeah. We got an axle that's messed up right there. Well, we got some figuring to do. It might not be as bad as I thought. We have some metal in there we got to get out. We're going to have to drop that girl down, pop it all off. We might have messed up on our measurements on this because that was only about a 1/4 inch that was binding there. And that looks to me like that's what spun. So I need to find out how far in those axles are supposed to go. We may need to do different axles. That would actually be happy. I'm going to go get the old axle and see how much was riding on that. Alright, you can see that line, that rusty area right there in comparison to that. So that's in the gears, or it's in the center section, about 1 inch. This was in there about 3/8 of an inch. I may have messed up on my measurements. I thought I ordered 29.5. This is 20. Oh, it's from there. So based off from this being 32, this should be. I think we can fix it with axles. We're going to tear that apart anyway just to verify it's okay, but I think we can fix it with axles. Well, we might have a little bit of good news in the middle of the bad. I'll see what I can get tomorrow. Hey, hey. It's a new morning. Gotta put some band-aids on my fingers because my fingers cracked with the job I have during the day. Just thought I'd let you guys know that we are pushing for this Friday to deliver this truck finally to Ben in all its glory. Because this Friday we have a family reunion up in a little town called Luna, New Mexico. L-U-N-A. Check it out. There's a population of about 130 people, and about half of them are my family. Probably a 1/4 of my family. And we have a 24th of July celebration, which is celebrating Pioneer Day. And they have a parade, which this truck is supposed to be in. They have a potluck lunch. They have a little real deal rodeo. Not the fancy stuff you see on TV, but I'll tell you what, they have some of the meanest bulls you could ever ride. And I'm telling you, they got 14-year-old kids riding those things. This is real deal cowboy, not the stuff that's made for TV. And that's where my parents live. A couple of my brothers. Sister has a house there. And I was never raised there, but it's a pretty cool, nice celebration. Anyway, Ben was really wanting to bring this truck there. So that means after what I discovered last night, we got some long hours to put in to cure it. Ben learned some things about mechanical leverage. And what I mean by that is he has a 5-speed manual transmission, 450 tail gear, some posi, and great big tires that like to stick. And pretty much he put it in first gear and dumped the clutch. And what that does is it has so much torque that we busted things. Now, that being said, it's not 100% Ben's fault, but it definitely is some Ben's fault. It looks like when I measured the axles, I measured from the wrong spot, and I measured from the outside flange to the end of the axle. Well, that's great as long as your bearings are in the same location. And so my bearings are a 1/2 inch different. And I knew that our axles were going to be about 1/8 inch short, but I wanted to go ahead and get these axles because that's all that was in town. And so when that difference in the bearing location was a 1/2 inch different, and then we had a 1/8 or so that was wrong, we only ended up having about a 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little more, that was actually inside the splined area. And so then when you put all of that torque of first gear, 350 tail gears, all the traction of the truck, and you heard on the video that he zinged the motor way up. And when he dumped that clutch, it was just too much for that little contact patch. And it didn't shear the axle, but it burned all the splines off the end of the axle. I showed you yesterday, I got it laying over there. Anyway, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I go to work at 5, so I figure I'll get me almost 3 hours of work in. So this is what I do on a Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the morning. So what I'm going to do is we get all these girls off, except for one. I'll leave the top one on. Then we gotta separate where we put silicone to seal it up nice and tight. You get blob coming out of the silicone, then you're never gonna have a leak, which I don't want leaks. But that makes it more difficult to take apart. Makes it very difficult to take apart. So we will fight, cuss and swear at that. Hopefully not cuss and swear, but we'll fight it definitely. And then, after it's drained all the fluid out, we will be able to pull it out and inspect it and see what kind of damage we have. Which, with my luck, as you can see, if it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. If you're as old as I am, you might remember that song from a television program called Hee Haw. All right. Appears to me that the gears are good. That means only one thing. We might have got off lucky. We scattered the rear end. Yeah, expensive. A couple of grand. Oh well, it is what it is. Tommy's back. Appreciate his help. He got a whole bunch of stuff taken care of on this today. And you saw, hopefully you saw in the video that we have the parts and pieces coming to put it back together. Ben has to have this at a show on Friday. Actually, it's a parade on Saturday morning for family reunion. So yeah, working our butts off. So anyway, we appreciate you guys coming by, and as usual, thanks for watching.